Hey guys, how's it going? You know the drill. If you like my video, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Alright, today I wanted to get into sports cards that are crashing. And I haven't seen too many people talk about this. I think Personal Finance Dad may have done a video on it. It's actually one of the videos I didn't watch of his this week. But he was talking about, I think, Fleer 86 cards are on sale, And I noticed one thing. Michael Jordan sports cards, this is just through my own research. I was getting into a discussion with some other dude who's kind of being rude to me, but, it is what it is. And about the Fleer 86 card, that got me thinking, okay, the PSA 9 sale, Fleer 86 went for about $75,000, bid on, Propsteed a few months ago. And there were a few sales like that, January and February. So it wasn't just one isolated sale. And, the Michael Jordan card at the time, I think it was on Golden Auction, the PSA 10 went for $756,000. Quite a bit of money, at one point it was about $50,000 and it went up to $750,000 for the PSA 10. And PSA 9, right now though, going to this different card, it went to $30-some thousand on an offer today. I looked at the source code on eBay, and that's what it said. And there's one other auction on eBay right now. It's about 7:40 Central Time, Easter Sunday, and I'm not sure what that cost of that card is going to be. It's right now maybe $14,000-$15,000, PSA 9. So let's get this straight. I'm just looking at the sale earlier today, assuming the guy paid $30,000, while that card 2 months ago was $75,000. That is over a 50% correction within 2 months. That is what you call a crash. And for those that remember the real estate crash of 2007 through 2009, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was about 14,200, October 2017, not 2017, 2007. And in March 2009, I believe it was like in the 6,000s. S&P, I think, was at its high 2,000, and, it peaked or it bottomed out at, can't believe this, for those those interested in numbers, right, numerology, 666, around that range. It's crazy. But yeah, it's crazy that it took about 18 months for a 50% decrease in the stock market. And now we're talking about the card market right now, which I believe is still in a bull market for a variety of reasons. And you're having some cards go down 50% in 2 months. What's going to happen when the whole system collapses, the stock market collapses, Bitcoin collapses, and the rest of the card market collapses? What happens when this whole house of cards comes tumbling down? What happens when the hedge funds, the institutions that are involved in the card market say, no mas, I'm not going to be involved in this? So this $30,000 card, even though, there may be opportunities to go along this card, I'm not going to put $30,000 in the Jordan PSA 9 card. Hell no, not right now. I mean, there's a Space Jam movie. So there's a potential opportunity for a flip. It's too risky for my risk tolerance. I'd rather be flipping $30,000 worth of S&P options, or not options, but $30,000 in S&P. I'd rather be doing that. And it's just crazy how this price action was moving. And I was talking about cancel culture in my previous video, and I was saying that I want to, because of how crazy our society is, I want to get into some vintage. Not now. I want this whole system to crash. And some guy was giving me a whole bunch of attitude, and he told me earlier, I lost money during the junk wax era, or he was underwater and he finally made money after a long time. on those cards. And, he's giving me attitudes like, you don't know what you're talking about vintage. Vintage is not going to go up by that time. And in addition, he was saying that, you've missed your boat if you haven't invested in vintage. I'm like, dude, just chill out. Don't be an ankle biter. And here's the thing, I want to be investing in some of these older cars. And, some people have different definitions of vintage. I would say anything before the junk wax era is vintage. I'm a little younger than some of the boomers out there. But that's what I consider. So 86 before that, I consider the Jordan card vintage. Some people are going to be like, no, it's not vintage. I'm like, dude, I'm here just to chat with you guys, man. I'm not here to, out junkie you out on this hobby, if you want to if you want to get into, an abrasive type of argument with someone, go somewhere else. I'm just here, to share my thoughts, and I want to see what you guys say. Just like a casual conversation. Anyways, I want to look at the price action of some of these other vintage cards, like the Mantles of the world. There's a 69 Mantle I bought, in 2019. I flipped that, and luckily it was a PSA 7. It was a card that PWCC, I sent it to them. It was in the top 15% of the PSA 7s out there. So, I doubled my money within a few months. It was crazy. And I want to be looking at, those type of cards. Like I said, everything is, in my opinion, is going to be crashing within the next few years. And I'm going to be keeping a close tab on some of these vintage cards. And sure, I'm going to be investing in modern cards as well at that time, when the whole rug comes falling off, when all the money supply, disappears from the market. This funny money from the Fed, it's going to be going away. And in my opinion, that's a good opportunity to get into all sorts of cards. Once again, I'm not telling you to do the same thing I'm doing. Once again, do your own homework and due diligence. But at the same time, I'm going to be looking at, some Sandy Koufax cards, Jackie Robinson cards. And sure, they've been doing pretty well the last few months. Sandy Koufax cards, PSA 8, I believe his rookie, basically tripled or close to tripled within 3 months. And I don't think that's sustainable. I'd like to see a huge correction in that. The only thing with Sandy Koufax is now he's old. So if he passes away, you may see a huge run-up in his cards. But, Jackie Robinson, those are some cards I'm looking at. I'm not going to get a PSA 10. I don't have the money for that. PSA 9, probably not. Maybe some PSA 8s or 7. So I'm putting a list of cards that are on my eye. I'm not necessarily going to buy them, but if they contract significantly in the next few years, I definitely want to buy them. And the Jordan cards are definitely on my radar, even though there's a high population count. That's what prevented me from buying some of the Jordan graded cards, because the 86 Fleer and all the other cards in the 80s, there's so much population. I knew about the junk wax era, and that's why I was hesitant to pull the trigger on any of his cards. I should have, but I'm also looking at Jordan 84 cards as well. I'm looking at some of the star cards that only BGS grades, and a lot of people are going into that right now. And it's, in my opinion, once again, next few years, those cards are going to be coming down hard. It'll be a good opportunity. It may not come down as hard as some of these other cards, like some of these modern cards like Luka Doncic, or if you look at Patrick Mahomes cards, which have been on fire. I think those are going to be crashing the hardest, the modern ones. The vintage ones, they will correct, not as much, and I think, that's probably going to be safe to buy, in my opinion. And the other thing is, there's other cards right now crashing. I looked at this Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, that rookie card. And this was just based on some not eBay videos, some YouTube videos. I think it's the Baseball Card Collector, Dealer, Investor, whatever his YouTube channel is. He was showing like this card went for about 90 grand, he was saying. And then the other day, what did it sell for? PSA 10, what was it, like $38,000? So, we're seeing over a 50% crash already in some of these high-end cards. And what's going to happen in the next few years? 50% decrease in 2 months. Will it take 2 years when the whole system, in my opinion, is going to collapse? A lot of people thought last year was crazy. And it definitely was crazy. One of the positive part of last year, despite all the pandemic, all the craziness, despite all the job losses, which is horrible, right? The riots, that was horrible. The thing is that you have the banking system in check. Our banks, didn't have problems. I read a lot of history. I read, problems in economic systems throughout the world. And for instance, in the Eurozone, there was Greece. The Greeks had trouble accessing their bank accounts. Maybe it was like 7-8 years ago. And they had something called bail-ins because their whole financial system collapsed. Hopefully this won't happen, but there's been some smart people that I'm reading, like Avi Gilbert, who calls a lot of, crazy events in the stock market. He gets bottoms pretty well. And he's not one of the conspiracy theorists out there. He used to work on MarketWatch, my buddy told me, or write articles on MarketWatch, and they don't publish his articles. I'm not sure why. He's gotten a lot of things right. He writes on Seeking Alpha, by the way. He's talking about, there's a potential of bail-ins coming in the next few years. He tends to forecast trends pretty well, in my opinion. Like, what happens then? People are going to be freaked out. They're not going to be buying cards in that moment. In my opinion, that's probably the time to buy cards. When, you don't want to buy cards. Last year, I'll leave it on this note, I was freaked out when the market was going really down. I thought, just me studying history, you could get some banking crisis, Sure, you have the FDIC, right? But, they don't have the funds that they say they do. So, the thing is, I was asking my wife, like, hey, should I take money out of the bank account, just as a precaution? She said, maybe. I didn't. I ended up putting in the stock market. And, it was a good idea. I should have put more into cards as well. But, the time where you're really fearful, and everyone else is losing their minds, like in March of last year, that's the time to buy, in my opinion. Once again, I can't tell you when to buy, but, when everyone is, getting complacent, I talked about that in my last video, that's not the time to be buying or to be aggressive. A lot of people be really aggressive right now. And now, there's a curveball thrown out. You can't send your raw to grade cards to PSA, to BGS, SGC. It's too expensive, or they shut down service. And, you could go do HGA. In HGA, there's 30,000 people waiting for 5,000 cards. What will it be this week? 5,300 or whatever? It's nuts, man. So, I'm patiently waiting, to find opportunities card market. It'll probably take 3 years. Right now, I'm slowly but steadily selling. And I'm investing in the S&P. But I realize it's probably not going to be a bull market for that long, maybe 12 to 18 months. But I will reassess at that time. I look at the markets quite frequently. Anyways, guys, smash the like button if you like my video. Comment below. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you don't like my videos, hit the dislike button and tell me why. Sometimes people hit the dislike button and they say nothing, I like to have dialogue with people that don't agree with me. Maybe I may have some other... you may point me in a different direction, and that's how I get content going. It's all because of the comments. And also, you know, I do my research too. And I have some videos that I want to do in the future. But if you want to see any type of video in the future about sports cards, you know, I may do some research on it, you know. That's what this channel is all about, guys. Alright, guys. Talk to you later. See ya. Bye.